Okay, today we're going to spend our entire practice on the mat, and we'll work through some real good stretching. So let's find a comfortable seated cross-legged position. I just want to focus a little bit on posture here. And then we'll bring in some breathing. So find your comfortable place and see if maybe you can get those legs in a little bit closer, or possibly, depending on your hip flexibility, you can come into lotus, putting one leg up. My knees don't like me to do this, so if you're comfortable in a lotus position, feel free to come into that lotus position. But otherwise, try and tuck those legs in as close as you can get them, so we can start opening up into our hips. Let's just find our comfortable seated position. Both of our sitting bones balanced on the mat, extending and growing tall through the spine. Feel your height lifting at least an extra inch. Our face is neutral, reaching the crown of our head towards the ceiling. Opening up into the chest, feeling a little tension between the shoulder blades, pulling that navel close to the spine, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Now let's find ease in our posture, and imagine your skin draping over your body. Relaxing the muscles in the face, the tension between the brows, the jaw. And begin to make our breaths more full, more deep, lengthened. Eyes are closed. Paying attention to what our body is feeling and what we're bringing to the mat today. Today's a real good day to focus on what our soul is feeling. Take a moment to create an intention. How do you want to show up on the mat today? And how do you want to show up during your day? And now let's bring the awareness to the breath through the nasal passage. Notice the sensations you're feeling, maybe a cool breath as it comes in, warmth as it comes out. Now on your next inhale, see if you can feel that inhale in the back of your throat. And then exhale slowly. We're going to work on a triangle breath, and there are 3 parts to the triangle breath. There's an inhale and 2 exhales. And what it looks like, how you'll feel it through your nasal passages, is it comes in on the inhale, it drops down straight for half of an exhale, and then straight out for the final part of the exhale. So inhaling up to the roof of your mouth, the back of your throat, exhaling straight down, and then pushing it straight forward. So it becomes a triangle. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Let's just keep that triangle breath for the next minute. And again, this is a centering breath. And focusing the breath closer to the brain brings in more oxygen to the brain. And this is also a calming breath in times of tension or stress or anxiety. Okay, we'll do one more triangle breath. And then bring the inhalation to our chest, to our clavicles, to the top of our chest. Really press out on the exhale and expand completely on the inhale on the top of the chest. Always with the aim of getting that exhale twice as long as the inhale. And if it helps, you can put your hand up here in this area where you want to focus. And we'll take one more breath here, and then we'll lower the breath to the middle of the chest. Really pushing those rib cages, the rib cage and the ribs out, and pressing them in to squeeze the lungs tight to empty. Take just a moment to notice how your body feels when you focus on the breath. Hopefully you're feeling more present, more calm, more centered. We'll take one more breath in the middle of the lungs. And on the next inhale, let's bring it as low into the lungs as we can, really pushing out our stomachs on the inhale and contracting, tightening, and squeezing our stomachs in on the exhale. Expanding our stomachs as big as we can get them. Checking back into our posture, making sure that we have a tall spine, open chest. With the next few breaths, we're going to feel the entire chest cavity, and you can put your hands high on your chest and low on your stomach to feel that expansion. Inhaling deeply, exhaling. Inhaling deeply, and on the exhale, add an audible sigh through the nasal passages. Kind of like that Darth Vader breath. And imagine yourself just releasing every ounce of tightness and tension in your body with that exhale. Okay, let's do one more complete breath. And we'll start to work on our neck and our shoulders, placing our hands gently on our knees. And you're welcome to place your thumbs or your index fingers under your thumbs. Or if you choose, you can have your thumb and finger touching. Just let it allow your wrist to rest gently on your knees. And let's start bringing some movement into our neck. So we're going to put our left ear to the left shoulder and separate the right ear from the right shoulder. So you're pushing down with that right shoulder, lifting up through the right ear and squeezing the left side of your neck. And you might feel tension in both sides of your neck while you're doing this. Okay, release to a neutral neck, and then right ear to right shoulder. I can really feel some tightness today. Seems like some days you just wake up having a little bit more tightness, tension in your body. Okay, take the left ear to the left shoulder again. Really exaggerate this movement. Take this time to stretch into your neck. We don't do this nearly often enough. Remembering to breathe, keeping the muscles in the face soft. Okay, this time, let's press our chin over our left shoulder, trying to push it behind the shoulder. And again, if you can lower that right shoulder as you're pressing the chin over the left shoulder and feel more of an extension, a longer stretch clear into the shoulder. And release, gaze over the right shoulder. Press the chin behind that right shoulder, and then see if you can pull the left shoulder out and down, away from the left ear. Okay, gaze left, gaze right, really exaggerating and lengthening these stretches. Gaze left, gaze right. And we'll take one complete clockwise rotation. So lifting the chin, pulling that bottom lip up over the top lip, pulling the shoulders down, the chin is up to 12 o'clock. And then let's rotate clockwise, finding the fullest extension of the stretch as we complete the clockwise rotation. See if you can engage your shoulders a little bit to help you lengthen these stretches. Really trying to reach down to that clavicle, getting the chin to the chest. And if you find yourself lifting up in the shoulders to get that chin down, just make note and pull those shoulders down, the chest open, and then dip the chin. We don't want to cheat on any of these movements. Okay, and back to 12, and we'll do a counterclockwise rotation. Almost like we're massaging into the neck as we do these rotations. Remembering to keep a soft face. Eyes are closed. Really trying to keep that breath steady and relaxed. Okay, let's return to a neutral neck and slide the chin forward, pulling the shoulders back as we push forward, and then pushing the shoulders forward as we slide the chin back. Just on a level, parallel plane to the floor. Forward and back, forward and back. Okay, let's start rotations with the shoulders, lifting the shoulders up. And then clockwise rotation to the back. And when your shoulders are to the back, see if you can squeeze those shoulder blades together. Shoulders down, pulling out through the ears. pushing them forward. You can speed up this rotation. Okay, reverse it. Maybe you can hear some creaking and cracking of your joints. Okay, fingertips to the top of our shoulders, and we'll rotate elbows, and we can rotate those in a clockwise position. Bring them to the back and see if you can touch those elbows behind you. You won't be able to, but give it a good shot. Pressing them down. Again, when they're down, you're pulling out through the ears, down with the shoulders, forward. See if you can touch them in front of you and bring them up again. Always finding the fullest rotation. Really stretching deeply into these joints. Okay, let's reverse the stretch here. Touching those elbows in between. Pressing the shoulder blades together. Touching these elbows between. Okay. Good job. Let's take our arms straight out. See if you can press the palms towards the wall on both sides, and then reverse it and squeeze those shoulder blades together as tight as you can get those shoulder blades. Just squeezing them like you're holding a pencil in between them, and then release and press out. Again, press in between the shoulders, strengthening those muscles under the shoulder blades, between the shoulder blades, and press out. One more time. Squeeze them together. And again, check to see if your spine is still tall, extended, and release. Fingers laced together, pressing forward to reverse that stretch. And while you're pressing forward, tuck that chin into the chest, creating stretching on the top of the shoulders and between the shoulder blades. Breathing deeply. And release. Coming back to a neutral spine. Let's take our right knee and place it over the left knee. And we'll begin to stretch a little bit more into the upper spine. And I'd like to have everybody keep their fingertips to the chin, thumb to the chest, really focusing on that upper spine. And we'll twist to the right. So our right leg is over the left leg, and we're going to twist to the right, keeping that chin and chest aligned, trying to press that right shoulder back farther. Again, our spine is tall. And release. Do it one more time. Inhale, twist. Really pressing that right elbow to the back. Feeling that twist in the middle back. And release. Okay, let's take the left leg over the right leg. Fingertips to chin, thumbs to chest. And this time we'll twist to the left. Inhale, twisting to the left. Really keeping that chin and chest aligned. Stretching the middle of the back in between the shoulders. Getting that twist in there. Take some core work as well. So pay attention to what your belly button is doing. Are you engaging that part of your core? Tuck it into the spine, extend the spine. Inhale, twist. And release. Okay, keep this left leg in, but bring it to the bottom. So our left knee is facing the front of the mat. Our right knee rests on top of the left. So find the position, the measure of this pose that's working for your body. You'll start to open up into your hips with this. So that might be that you have your leg up. Just try and keep it tucked as close as you can, always working to that edge, short of pain, but into discomfort. And if you're able to, you can have those knees stacked on top of each other, and then really work on keeping those sitting bones balanced to the mat. You'll notice this right sitting bone wants to come up if your right leg is crossing over. So keep that right sitting bone lowered to the mat. And let's just sit here for a moment and feel that stretch and see if we can relax into those hip joints with the breath. Just imagine inhaling that breath, and on the exhale, allowing those muscles to soften and relax. Again, our chest is open, our spine is tall. We're finding softness in our face and in our hip joints. Okay, if it's in your practice with a flat spine, you can fold your chest over your legs and do it slowly so you can really feel the extent of this stretch. Again, keeping that right sitting bone to the mat. Really trying to press the right hip lower to keep those hips parallel to the floor. And again, you'll notice tightening starting to creep into those hips. When you do, breathe into it and allow it to relax. Okay, release. Same thing, opposite side. Let's shake them out a little bit. If your knees have been bent too long, put a little bit of movement into them. This time our left knee goes on top of the right knee. So first bring that right knee out in front of you, and then bring the left knee over the right, as close as possible. And you know, with steady, regular practice, you'll start noticing just micromillimeters of more flexion each time you do this. And sometimes these poses take years to get to where you want them to be. Okay, again, tall spine. And we're pressing both of our sitting bones down. Our chest is open. And we're finding softness in our breath, bringing that softness into our body. Checking that tension in your face. Checking the tension in your hands. Just let them rest, float away. Okay, flexing from the hip, flat spine, bringing our chest over our knee. Noticing that left hip wanting to raise, so just press it back down. Using the breath to soften into the pose. I'm noticing that I keep pressing that left hip back down to the mat. It's easy for it to want to float up and make this pose a little bit easier. I'm missing a lot of the stretch in that left hip if I do. And if you're able to get into this pose, try tucking that chin into your chest and notice how that brings a lot of the stretch farther to the outside of the hips. Okay, let's release it. And we'll work on some wide leg stretching here. You can bend these knees Move your hips, get some movement back in them. It might even feel good to just take your fist or your thumb and massage into that hip. Okay, we'll take a wide leg stance. So opening the legs as much as possible. And I'm feeling a lot of tightness in this area today. So it might take us a little bit of work to get these relaxed in there. Again, finding that tall spine, an open chest. And we're going to take this right shoulder and bring it to the left shoulder, bring it to the inside of the left knee, and then the right arm comes over. So let's inhale, and on the exhale, bring that left shoulder or left elbow in front of the left knee, and the right arm comes over. And let's check and see what our body's doing. See if you can keep those toes pointed to the ceiling. The left elbow resting to the inside of the left knee. Stretching from the right fist, clear through the rib cage and the hip. And keeping that chest open to the front. Don't let yourself come forward this way. Really want to keep open to the front. Okay, release it. Extend that spine, lengthen it. Right elbow goes to the inside of the right knee, and the left arm comes over this time. And again, that chest is open to the front. We don't want to bring the chest forward or rotated towards the knee. We want to keep it open to the wall in front of us. Trying to find more softness with each exhale. Really reaching over with that left fist, stretching clear into the left hip. Finding softness in our face. And release it. Okay, this time we're going to take our whole chest, rotate it toward our left knee, and then reach forward, trying to grab our toes. If this is difficult for you, this is a great time to use these straps to get you a little bit more leverage to get over towards that knee. So you can take your strap, rotate your chest towards the left foot, and then bring yourself forward, trying to get that center of your chest over the left knee. So these straps can be really helpful to help you get into the stretch if you're not able to reach your feet to create a lock or some traction here. And again, we're aiming on getting the center of our chest over that left knee. And you could tuck your chin. Okay, release. Bring it back up. Let's extend our spine, grow it tall, open our chest, rotating toward our right foot. You can take that strap over your right foot and then pull the front of your chest with a straight leg, a flat spine, trying to get the front of your chest over your right knee. You can try tucking your chin. Okay, release it, and we'll face forward. And if you're able to, you can open those legs a little bit farther now that they're getting used to the position. And then we're going to keep our spine tall, and we're going to come forward, hinging from the hip with a flat chest to the mat. So catch yourself before you start hunching your shoulders and keeping your spine flat, and come forward. And if you need to use your hands, and this is the farthest you can get into it with straight legs and a flat spine, then this is your edge. With the breath, you can slowly bring yourself in a little bit farther, keeping that spine flat. We don't want to hunch over into this pose. We really want to keep that spine flat, coming forward. And when you've reached that edge, trying to keep the breath steady, softening into the pose. Okay, let's inhale and release. And we'll do that one more time. Extending the spine, keeping some height in it, opening the chest. See if you can move those legs out a little bit farther this time, straightening the legs. Those sitting bones are square to the mat. Careful you don't give yourself a Charlie horse in your glute there. Inhale, flat spine, coming forward. And if you're able to come forward, you can rest your arms in front. You can bring your forehead to the floor if you're able to get to that point, reaching out to the toes. Find the measure of this pose that's working for your body. And I know there's a lot of tension in your legs right now and in your hips, and see if you can breathe that softness in there. Focus on calming, settling, lengthening, and mostly releasing. My Swami that I studied with made an interesting comment one time, and she said, you know, our bodies are flexible. It's our minds that prevent us from being flexible. So this is a little bit morbid, but if you think about a corpse and the ways the body can move, if there's no life in it, I mean, your body could do this, but your mind prevents you from doing that. There's so much mental work involved in stretching your body and coming into these poses, and a lot of wisdom. Okay, inhale, coming out of that pose. Bring our legs together. Feel some real good stretching there. Okay, we'll do a reverse plank. So rotating our hands to the back of the wall, opening up the chest, keeping the legs straight, lifting the hips off of the mat, trying to keep a straight plane from our toes to our shoulders. And release. You want to bring your arms forward a little bit. Okay, let's do one more. Fingertips to the wall behind us. Chest is open, spine extended, lifting those hips. Okay, release. And let's come to table pose. We'll do a few cat-cows here, getting some stretch in our spines. Hips under, knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders, lifting up, really separating those shoulder blades. And then opening the chest between the shoulders, lifting the face. Then reverse it. One more time into cow. Okay, forearms come to the mat, lifting our hips. Into this dolphin pose, and then walking our feet a little bit forward, trying to keep our feet flat to the mat and our forearms flat to the mat. Really lifting those sitting bones up towards the ceiling. Okay, let's release. Coming down to table. We'll do a cat-cow again. Always wanting to keep movement in that spine to help us alleviate tension that we might be building up. Okay, this time we're going to keep our knees as far apart as we can get them. The laces side of our feet are down, or you can stay at your toes, or you can rest your feet to the side. Just find what's comfortable for you and lower your hips to the floor. And then come into our forearms. And if I had to have you guess what this pose is, you would guess frog because it looks just like a frog. And you can take those knees a little bit farther apart. Okay, let's come up out of it onto our palms and reverse our palms so our fingertips come toward our body and the inside of our elbows are facing the wall in front of us. And we'll open up our chest here. So you might need to have your arms a little bit farther apart to get your chest in between the arms. Arms are straight, lifting that chin, pulling it away from the shoulders. And this is lion pose. Okay, release. You might want to do a baby pose here to get those hips a little bit softer. Okay, let's take our left heel in front. And we're balancing our weight on our right knee. And then we can bring our hands down to the mat with a flat spine. And we'll come into a half split. And there's a couple of tricks to getting this pose right. So you want to keep your palms to the mat if you're able to, and really keeping the toes pointed to the ceiling and the left leg as straight as possible. And sometimes it helps to try and pull that right hip to the wall behind you and the left heel to the wall in front of you, really straightening that leg. And if you'd like a modification for this pose, you can stay up and then you can use your strap to pull a stretch into that. And again, you're using this hip, this right hip, to pull aside or to pull back away from your left leg, okay? Same thing, opposite side. So the right leg comes in front of us. Our right heel to the mat. And again, you can put that strap around your foot if that's helpful for you. Keeping the hips parallel, right toes to the ceiling. We're pulling that right hip to the wall behind us, trying to get that leg straight. Our palms to the mat. And again, the alternative to that is having the strap around your foot and pulling into the strap. Okay, let's release it. And we'll do rabbit pose, forehead to the mat, reaching behind us, grabbing our heels. Top of our head is to the mat. And we're using a lock between our hands and our heels to pull a stretch in between our shoulders, our neck, and our back. Trying to lift up those shoulders or lift up the space between the shoulders, so the shoulder blades. Okay, coming to a seated position, legs in front of us. We'll do a forward fold, and again, the strap can be helpful for you in your forward fold, pulling yourself, keeping your spine flat. So use that strap if it's helpful for you to get more fully into the pose. Otherwise, inhaling, and we're going to stay in this forward fold for 3 minutes. So be prepared, it'll go by faster than you think, but if you need to come out and go back into the pose, that's completely fine too. So inhaling, reaching up, forward fold, reaching forward with a flat spine, bringing that chest, aiming to get the chest right over the knees. And then when you're supported, allowing that chin to tuck closer to the chest. So if you're feeling with some limited flexibility here, pulling on your strap with a flat spine, trying to get that chest right over your knees. So lying the chest flat to your legs. Now imagine yourself with each exhale coming just a little bit farther into the pose. And really with the aim of getting relaxation and softness, gentleness in this pose. Okay, releasing out of the pose. You can walk your hands up the spine. If it doesn't cause problems to your low spine, you can just open a flat chest up and lift up out of it. But it's helpful for me to use my hands to release out of this pose. Okay, coming down to our backs. And we'll do another hip opener here and work a little bit into the core. So let's take this strap, if you've got a strap, or just reaching down to the inside of your foot, and we'll open up to the side. So I'll show it with the strap, and otherwise reaching to the inside of your foot, strengthening it out to the side. So keeping that leg straight, inhale, and allow that leg to start straight, coming to the side, opening up into that hip joint. And you want to be careful to make sure that this left hip does not come up off the mat. You want to keep both hips low to the mat while you're opening up this joint. Really pressing the left hip to the mat. Okay, let's release it. Same thing. Bringing it out to the side. Just open up and relax. Really focus on pressing that left hip to the mat and trying to get this right leg as straight as possible. Opening deep into this hip joint. Okay, one more breath here, and we'll release it. And lowering our leg and our arm to the mat. And let's work on this left side. Bringing that left leg straight up from the hip, reaching down to the inside of the foot, the arch of the foot, straightening that leg, and then we'll bring it out to the side. And again, use that strap to help you straighten your leg and open it up to the side. Pay attention to the right hip this time as it wants to lift up to allow you to come more fully into the pose. Really work on keeping that right hip to the mat. Check the tension between your eyebrows. See if it's soft. See if there's softness in your hands. And release. Bringing it back up. You can stretch it a little bit. And then let's inhale, opening up to the side. Keeping that right hip pressed into the mat, the right shoulder pressed into the mat. And I notice as I'm bringing my leg out that my ankle rotates a little bit. So my heel comes up a little bit and my toes start to rotate out. Breathing that ease into this joint. Okay, release it. And let's lower our leg and arm together. Okay, we'll use our strap again if you want to, or reach down to your leg. We'll bring our leg straight up and you can reach down and reach down as far down onto the leg as you possibly can. And if you have the strap, use the strap to pull that leg up and try and straighten it. Okay, and we're going to pull it close to our body and release. Pull it close to our body and release. One more time. Close to our body and release. And then point and flex and point and flex. One more point, one more flex. Rotating that ankle into circles. Reverse the rotation. And then bring your head towards your knee. So lift your head and your shoulders up off the mat. And pull that knee to your chest to your knee. And release it. Flexing the heel with a straight leg, palms to the side of our hips. We're going to lower this leg and probably take 2 minutes to lower. So let's flex the heel, pull that kneecap into the thigh, tuck the navel into the spine, lifting up on the pelvic floor, lowering it. In a straight line, you'll notice it wants to kind of come out to the side or cross over. We really want to keep it straight from the hip, working into our core. Keeping that navel tight to your spine will really help strengthen into your core. Make the last couple of inches really count here. Keeping that navel tight, the heel flexed, knee pulled into the thigh. And when your heel hits the mat, just relax in Savasana for 2 or 3 deep breaths. We'll prepare to bring that left leg up. Pay attention to how your right leg feels compared to your left leg. Your right leg should feel a couple of inches longer. Okay, bringing that left leg straight up from the hip, reaching down as far as you can, or bring that strap around the foot. We're going to pull that leg in and release it. Pull it in. Release it. Pull it in. And release it. Let's point. Oh, actually, let's bring our chest to our knee to our chest. Keeping that right leg attentive and straight. Okay, release. Now let's point and flex. Point and flex, keeping that leg pulled in. And then we'll rotate, trying to draw a big circle with our toes. Opposite rotation. Okay, hands come to the sides of the hips, palms down, ankle flexed, knee pulled into the thigh, navel to the spine, pelvic floor engaged, lowering that leg. See how gentle you can keep your arms and your shoulders in your face, and how engaged you can keep that leg, pulling that kneecap in, spine in, heel flex. Making those last few inches count. Okay, relax in Savasana briefly. Okay, let's take our left leg, cross it over our right, so our left ankle is resting on top of our right knee, and we're pulling our right knee in, and we'll thread the needle. So our left arm comes into this triangle space that we've created and reaches to the front of our right knee, and our right arm comes and clasps on. And then we'll pull this right knee into our chest. Digging deep into that left hip. Really pulling it in tight and release. Left or right foot on top of left knee. Our right arm comes into the needle, into the triangle space. So we're threading the needle, reaching to the front side of our left knee. And pull that left knee towards the chest. Digging deep, deep, deep into that right hip joint. Okay, and we'll release both legs straight up to waterfall. So both of our legs come up and our arms come over our head. We're going to lower both of these legs and we'll take 3 minutes to lower. So really engaging the core here, making this very intentional and really worth a lot of effort here. So heels come straight up to the ceiling. We're pulling our kneecaps into the thighs, engaging the core, and we're lowering both legs together. We're going to try and keep these arms and hands above us as soft and relaxed as we can, keeping that navel tucked in tight to the chest. Heels are flexed, legs are straight. And see if you can keep this lowering constant and steady for the whole entire time. You'll find areas in here where you feel like it's a little bit of a rest and you want to stop and stay there. But just keep working through it. Checking back in to see if these arms over your head are soft. Allowing that softness in your arms and your face forces the lower half of your body to do the work. Find some tough areas in here and keep slowly moving through them. Might notice some shaking in your body. Keep that navel tucked in. And if you are down to the mat, then just relax in Savasana. Keeping that navel tucked in. Got about 1 minute left. Okay, tuck your knees to your chest, release a little bit of that tension, and roll side to side, allowing the mat to do a little bit of massaging into your back and into your hips. And then find a comfortable Savasana pose. It may be corpse pose, you may be a seated cross-legged position, or you may choose to come to a wall and bring your legs up on the wall in waterfall and relax that way. Sometimes it's fun to do an inversion for your relaxation. And we'll go through a body scan, and we're about 3 minutes behind where I was hoping we would be. So I'll go through this body rotation quickly for our last little meditation, really focusing on the large areas of our body, trying to pay attention to them and relax them, and mostly being mindful of each body part that I mentioned, and checking into how it feels, if it feels more relaxed, if it feels strengthened, if it feels lengthened, paying attention to the difference in how your body feels now compared to how it felt when you came to the mat this morning. Okay, tuning into your breath, take the last few moments to make any adjustments or movements that your body needs to. And find yourself sinking into your Shavasana more fully, more deeply. And let's begin in the crown of the head, and we'll imagine a soft, glowing liquid form of relaxation coming into our body. Be mindful of each body part, offering gratitude to that body part and allowing it to rest and be at ease. Allow that relaxing, softening light to flow over the crown of the head and the face, the back of the head, the throat, the neck, continuing to slowly flow over the shoulders, the chest, your arms, your hands. Imagine this light continuing to flow down your spine, into your hips, over your chest and stomach and pelvis. And allow all of those areas to continue to relax and soften and to be at ease. Allow that relaxation to continue over the glutes, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Your entire body is filled with softness and light. Imagine the entire form of your body from head to toe, bathed in softness and rest and ease. Imagine the energy flowing throughout your system. Taking a last few moments to connect back to your intention for your practice today and your intention for your day. Making a commitment to show up in that way today. Now bringing a few movements back into your fingers and your toes, and your wrists and your ankles, your legs, your arms, reaching, stretching, bringing movement back to your body. And when you're ready, return to a comfortable seated cross-legged position. Your hands at heart center. Today, again, I offer my gratitude for joining. Love doing this. I love being here and being present with you. And my wish for you today is ease. Namaste. Thank you. Have a lovely Sunday. I am flying out to Utah to see my family next week. So I won't have class all of next week, but I do have 12 or 13 classes posted to the YouTube channel. So hopefully that'll keep you busy. And otherwise, have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Love you all.
Thanks, Melissa. Have a safe trip.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.